Everybody wants to be, but nobody wants to do. Girl, it's time to be real, raw, and relentless. Everybody wants to be, but nobody wants to do. You know it's time.
Recrown you.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Truly Inspired Martin, and welcome to another episode of Recrown You, the podcast. I am so excited about today's episode, but I want you guys to remember what this is for. This is for the women who are ready to be real, raw, and relentless in their pursuit to unleash their inner badass. So what does that mean for you? That means that you are a woman that is willing to take a journey that you do not know where it leads. That means you're ready to jump. You're ready to say, there's things about me that I know I need to fix. There's things about me that I have not tapped into. I know that I'm greater than my current situation, but I have not faced my mess. And here we are here to do the work, baby. It's all about the work. There's so many different layers and so many different things that we go through. And a lot of times we just don't deal with it. And we wear this hard exterior, but we got to get down to the nitty gritty. And you guys know that this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. Woo! This is a big deal to me because I have faced depression myself. I deal with anxiety. I'm a 2-time suicide survivor and domestic violence. Like, I've gone through a lot of different traumas, from rape to domestic violence to, I ain't even gonna get into everything right now because y'all gonna need to sit down with a glass of wine for all that, right? But I want you guys to know that this means a lot to me, not just because I want you to hear me and hear my guest. I want you to sit down with pen and paper and do the work. Take notes. This is for you. I'm doing this for you, and I want you to do the work for yourself. So, y'all already know how I start every episode, right? I got to get into some statistics, right? Because that's important. I need you guys to know the facts. I need you guys to understand the basis and the foundation to everything that I do. So let's get into it. So these are statistics as of February 2019. Okay, this is from mentalhealthfirstaid.org. In the United States, almost half of adults, so that's about 46.4%, will experience a mental illness during their lifetime. Whew. 46.4%, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all sit with that for a second. 5% of adults 18 or older experience a mental illness in any 1 year. So that's about equivalent to 43.8 million people. Here's one last one for you. In the United States, only 41% of the people who had a mental disorder in the past year received professional health care or other services. And I think that that can actually come down to some embarrassment, right? And that can come down to lack of care, lack of insurance. And a lot of these different principles play into the bigger picture. We're dealing with things that we're not getting it dealt with. We're not seeking the care. We're not telling people, because it's that thing that you sit with and you say, I can do this on my own. I'm okay. I don't need anybody. I don't want to tell anybody because they'll judge me. I don't want to tell anybody because I'm embarrassed. I don't want to tell anybody because they're going to think I'm crazy. That stops now. We really need to just get it together, strap up our boots, and say, you know what? This is something that I'm dealing with, and I'm willing to be the person to put myself on the sword and say, I'm going to attack this problem, and I'm going to be the one to be silent no more. And that's what we're here for, baby. So, y'all know I love me a good quote, right? So here's a good quote for you. Love yourself enough to set boundaries. Your time and energy are precious. You get to choose how you use it. You teach people how to treat you by deciding what you will and won't accept. That was by Anna Taylor. So let that transition us into today's episode. Whew. Everybody just take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. Today is going to be beautiful, right? It's time for a U-turn, is today's episode. That is the name of today's episode. U-turn, baby. Y-O-U. Okay. And I have an amazing woman here with me today, and I cannot wait for her to pour it out to you so that you can seep it into your heart, your spirit, and go do something with it and unleash your inner badass, baby. So today we got Rita K Davis. She is an Emory certified health and wellness coach, a model, a host, influencer, an NPC bikini competitor. Hello. I wish I could wear a bikini, baby. But let me stop messing with you guys. You guys might know her from that show on OWN. I know I was stuck to the TV with this one, baby. On OWN, Ready to Love. If y'all remember that show, y'all will remember this beautiful soul right here. Rita, are you there with me, baby?
I am here. How are you? Good afternoon, good evening, and all that jazz.
Yes, I know that's right. I am so excited to have you on the show, as you can tell. So
yes, you got me excited over here about to stand up out of my chair. I can't even sit down.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview, because I know you are
No problem.
boss. So let's
appreciate that. And you know what? I thank you for providing the platform. Just reading your story and all that you've had to conquer is absolutely amazing.
Aw.
And we need more people like you to advocate for women, for people, for causes, and things of that nature. It's just amazing what you're doing. So I thank you for providing the platform. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Well, you know, like
you about to have me tearing up over here. Hold on. Okay. Got my tissue now. Now back to our regular scheduled program.
Yes, you are amazing.
Thank you. So tell us about you.
So, well, you know what? May is important to me for several reasons. It's my birth month, first and foremost.
Hey,
and then, you know, like you mentioned, yes, it is National Mental Health Month as well. And that's something that's definitely near and dear to me for many reasons. And we'll get into that. But, you know, I like to explain myself to people when they ask, because it's kind of hard to decipher. You know, God blessed me with a spirit and also an outward presence of people to be drawn to me. And I have to be able to use those, what I call gifts, you know, that the Lord displays on you for good. And, you know, he gives the gift of singing to some, the gift of acting to others, and he gave the gift of pretty much being a magnet to people, to me. So I had to put it to use at the best of my ability. And I explain myself as a corporate creative. So I always tell people I've got two sides to me. I've got the corporate side, you know, educated at Tennessee State University, HBCU love there, microbiology degree. Yeah, woo woo, yes. So I've got the corporate side of me. I'm in corporate America, business development manager, actually going after, you know, new business for different companies and things of that nature, cultivating relationships. And then I also have the creative side of me as well. Like you mentioned, I was on the lovely Ready to Love. That was on OWN TV, produced by Will Packer. And of course, Oprah Winfrey there. And that was an amazing experience. And like you said, I do model, I do work out and love that.
Yes,
As
you
see,
do.
I'm always
Be making me feel bad over here.
That was one of my hobbies, is just working out, being able to mold myself into the best me, because that's very important to me in being a Emory certified health and wellness coach. If I'm going to be telling or advising someone and helping them on their journey and, you know, leading them to whatever their light may be, I cannot ask of them anything that I'm not already doing tenfold. And if I'm going to ask you to do something, you better believe I've already did it times 10. So I got to help you believe, right? I have to go through it as well. So that was just, you know, my opinion and focus and viewpoint on, okay, you know what? There's a lot of people out there. They just naturally sound great. But I literally wanted the backing. I already had the interest of having that microbiology degree, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
And people naturally come to me for advice. And I'm all about health and wellness. I really do believe that we are big old science experiments, a big chemical makeup, and that starts with mind, body, and soul. And I wanted to actually go through the process of being certified so that I confidently can advise people it sounded good. It sounds great. People listen to me and they keep coming back. But you know what? I wanted to make certain that I was guiding them in a way that they really should be guided. And that's what it's all about. So there you go, the corporate side of me and then the creative side of me as well.
I love it. Ooh. Yep. I told you, a boss. So,
Takes one to know one.
why is mental health like important when talking about overall health and wellness? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's very important to me. I've experienced it, and it's like that conversation where you probably will see a meme every so now and then, or a quote that somebody puts up that says, "Call and check on your strong friend," right?
Yeah.
And I've always kind of been that strong friend that people come to. And I stopped questioning why I necessarily didn't have that quote unquote strong friend to go to. I was always that one that people came to. Stop questioning it and just accepted the fact that, you know what, you are that strong person. So God gave you that ability and use it. It's your gift. So use it. So growing up, my mother, she had a lot of loss in her family. And just being a teenage mother, she had to conquer a lot of adversities. She had my brother and I both by the time she was 18 years old. My brother and I right now, we're both 42 years old, 42 years young, I should say.
I say, girl,
And
you
we're
looking
Irish
good.
twins. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, it's all about that health. Health is wealth.
Yes.
But, by the time she was 18, she had 2 children, all under the age of 1 year old. We're 9 months apart, and for 3 months we'll be the same age. And if you could imagine a teenager
Wow.
having to conquer that at just 18 years old and just literally fight for survival and to put food on the table, and just how that can wear down on someone mentally. So very strong individual. I thank God for her, rest her soul, as she's no longer with us, but she definitely looks over for me and gives me lovely advice and tingly feelings now and again when I'm dealing with people. Just taking the strength from her and watching her breakdown when I was in middle school, and literally from middle school through high school and most of college, she was clinically depressed. Mental episodes. She pretty much was not that person that was going to go and see a doctor or a therapist, for other things that developed from, those mental episodes came physical, unfortunate physical challenges that, she eventually had to overcome, and unfortunately eventually took her life because of not going and seeking help. And, just being unhealthy, being immobile, and developing, different cardiovascular issues, and, COPD and things of that nature, smoking heavily and not eating right. So it's so many different things that a person that may be suffering from mental episodes can pretty much just, lock themselves up in a hole, ignore the world, and you don't realize not only are they suffering mentally, that someone could be helping them, but now physically your body is attacking itself because of what you're either giving it too much of or you're not getting enough of. So I had to suffer through that. And then also, too, about 4 years ago, there was a documentary that came out, and I encourage everybody to go watch it. It's called Mind Game. And it's a subtitle, The Unique Journey of Shamika Holtzclaw. So if anybody is a sports fanatic, they know about Shamika Holtzclaw, pretty much a legend in the female basketball world who suffered from bipolar disorder and, had an episode. And it was documented on, the journey that she went through. And we were very good friends during that time. So going through that, growing up with my mother in high school, and then coming, into a great friendship with an individual that I cared for very deeply, and just watching her go through it and realizing that you are that strong person. This is what I put you here to be. Accept it. You're going to have to be that person. You're just going to have to be that person. So choosing to accept it led me, like mentioned, to be an Emory certified health and wellness coach to try to help people proactively, things that could affect you mentally. Try to tackle those before they get out of hand. And that's where the whole scope of mental health comes from. Not mental health, but health and wellness coaching comes from, is meeting people where they are to see, where you are. And that's where my title comes from. It's time for a U-turn, YOU. It's time for you to make the decision what turn you want to take in improving your life. Are you ready sitting at that red light, anticipating what could be, what's going to happen if you don't do something that the doctor advised you to do, or what could happen if you did do something and you felt your best? What are you ready for? And then there's also, too, the environment that affects it all. Everything that is around you, whether it be literally your physical environment where you live, the people that are in your circle, professionally, personally, spiritually, things that you eat, all of that plays a part. So how ready are you to make that U-turn? Do you want to sit there like Atlanta traffic, stagnant with the noise around you, this hot Atlanta weather, and
Lord.
stay stagnant, not able to reach your potential because you decided that, you know what, I'm going to take this detour. I'm going to take that road less traveled. Let's take that side road that, I always wondered about and see if there's a better path for me that way instead of staying on the same path and leading me to God knows where.
Oh, that makes me think like it's for so many years, like I honestly believe that suppression causes depression. And
Mm-hmm.
me suppressing so much of my past and always using the words, I'm okay, I'm good. Like I was exactly what you just stated. I'm the strong friend. Everybody comes to me, tells me all their business, wants my
Yeah.
opinion and
Mm-hmm.
like all that stuff. And I love it. There's nothing wrong with it, but sometimes it almost feels like, okay, I need somebody to do this for me right now. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
also so damn, I don't want to use the word, but I'm a little prideful, right? So,
We all are.
a little something, right? And I think sometimes it takes you to actually tell somebody like, I'm really not good for people
Mm-hmm.
to know, because people can't read your mind. And me
Mm-hmm.
going through depression and anxiety and just all these different things, like the anxiety got worse as the older that I got because I never dealt with it. And I think that that's so important to that U-turn. Like it's a decision I had to make. Like, okay, I can keep acting like this ain't happening. I can just keep acting
Mm-hmm.
like I'm okay, or I can start making some kind of stride towards fixing what I know is wrong, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's where it starts. It's all about being ready. What level of readiness are you? And if you're not ready right at that moment, when you decide to at least go talk to someone, the first step is literally admitting that you realize there's something that's not right with you. And you may not be ready to act. Whomever may not be ready to act at that moment, but that is a form of action. Being able to say, you know what, something is not right. And I know that something needs to change. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm willing and ready and able to do right now, but I know that something is not right.
And that's exactly what it takes. Have you ever had your own like struggles with mental health, like anything specific, or was it just kind of the things that went on around you?
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely did. Just mentioning with my mother, I was so afraid to get close to her. And I even told her before she passed, it was probably about 2 years before she passed. You get older and you start to go to the doctor and, they put that thought in your head, oh, you're advanced maternal age. So I'm thinking, oh God, I am single. I don't have any potential. There's no kids coming out of this body anytime soon. And I'm thinking, oh, mom, you know what? I would love to get close to you, but you're not healthy. And it would break my heart if we got close like we could be because we're so similar. The similarities that drove us almost to, killing each other when I was a
Yeah.
teenager, were things that drew us closer in age when we got older to be friends. But I was like, you know what? If we get close, I would be so heartbroken if you are the reason why you leave this earth too early. And literally 2 years, I told her that she started to change, her eating habits and her patterns. And it's so funny getting that woman to switch from canned vegetables to at least steaming the bag vegetables. She's like, oh my God, this is actually pretty good. It tastes much better than canned vegetables. I mean, 18 years old, that's all she knew.
Yeah.
We grew up public housing, government assistant, things of that nature. I'm not ashamed to say that. That's what I'm a product of. But losing her so suddenly and unexpectedly really took a toll on me. And my brother unexpectedly broke down. I didn't see it. but I felt it from what I expected from him, and unfortunately, what he just wasn't able to deal with. And it was more so with him, it was just avoidance. Not going to do
Mm.
that. Okay, okay. I asked you to do this for the service. I'll say, "Well, did you get a chance to do it?" "No, I didn't do it. I'm sorry." I'm like, "Oh," and I'm just starting to realize, okay, he just really can't bring himself to do it. So losing my mother and unexpectedly having to put together a funeral from not, from afar, rushing home and not being able to grieve because you're dealing with all the legalities that go along with that. And then a year and a half later, my father, not my biological father, but my father who raised me, he passed away as well.
Oh.
And, that one, it was kind of anticipated. He had lymphoma. And, we did see that one coming, unfortunately, but still just very sad to lose, both parents in such short periods within one another. Just, very heartbreaking. And I had to question, myself and my strength. And it's just interesting and ironic with the training that I did go through with Emory, probably was the therapy that I am beginning. So, I still have my battles, but it's so funny. Some of the things that you look back at that you would break down literally in tears, crying, God does not allow those tears anymore for me. There are moments where I'm like, oh my God, had this been a couple of years ago, I would be in tears. And
Yeah.
literally, you ever tried to cry and the tears just won't come?
Like you trying to push them out, like your face looking all
You try to
ugly,
push it
like.
out. It's looking ugly. I feel like I really should be crying right now, but nothing is coming out. You know why? That's God activating that power that He entrusted in you to be that strong person. He's like, you know what? You look ridiculous right now. Pull yourself together. Pull yourself together. So yeah, I do. I am not perfect by any means necessary. I have my days. I am not gonna lie. I have my days. Every time I think about literally being 42 years young and ready to love didn't pan out. I still have no man and I want a child. And the doctor's telling me I better hurry up. So yes, I have my issues. That's probably where it mostly comes from. But I'm human. I am human, but I just thank God for that strength.
Yes, I ain't about to get into Ready to Love right now, but I'm just saying, Rita should have been one of the chosen. I'm gonna
Okay.
just leave that there.
Right. You're gonna leave it right there. Yep.
Yeah. So some people were feeling their egos was a little broken when you climbed up that wall a little faster than they did, but
Right. No, we're gonna let that go. It's
okay.
all good.
Okay. Back.
It's all
We
good.
came back.
Yeah.
We're back. We're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're back.
But what has being in the field of like health and wellness, like what has that showed you about yourself? I see that you're vegan. God bless your soul. My boyfriend's vegan, so I totally I applaud y'all. I tried it for 6
Come
months.
on over. Come on over. You can do it.
I did 6 months, and then I was like, let me let me come back. I started doing keto because I'm trying to reverse diabetes. So originally I tried to start the vegan thing, and then I was just like, ooh, I don't know if I can make it, Lord. But
Gotcha.
he's still doing it. So it's like, did you become vegan because you were in health and wellness? Like, what has this field like taught you or showed you?
You know what? Actually, I became vegetarian first 27 years ago when I was 16 years old.
Oh wow!
And yeah, before it was even remotely a thing or popular. I tell people I'm truly one of those ones. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this for sure. And it literally was something that I read. Just being interested in the biology, health and wellness. My initial plan was to become a physician, but that wasn't God's plan. But that's okay. I wanted to get back to it in some way. And when I was 16, I was playing softball, volleyball. I read somewhere, about blood type based diets and how my blood type should be vegetarian. So I tried it, and it was so funny. My mother that week, she did not want me to do it because I was already a little bean pole anyway. She's like, "Oh my God, you're gonna lose weight! Da, 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 da. You can't survive like that. You have to eat meat." And she cooked all of my favorite meals, every single one of them, every single night, the entire week that I initially went vegetarian. I'm like, "You are torturing me, woman. I cannot believe you're doing this to me." She was just like, "You are not going to make it," and I did. And I shocked her. So it probably was maybe 2 years after I did it, maybe after my sophomore year in college, that she fully accepted it because she would take me to the doctor. Every break that I came home, I was in that doctor's office, and he finally had to tell her, "Stop bringing her. She's fine. She is absolutely fine." Um, but it definitely weighed on life decisions. I feel better, and a lot of the world is starting to realize, you know what, you don't need meat to survive. Oh my God, can you believe that? You actually don't need it to survive. And it's a natural thing. Our bodies are chemical beings, made up of all these lovely molecular structures that are found naturally in plants instead of dead animal flesh. Sorry, it's just the truth.
I believe you. I really do. Like
But
I actually went and did the because I was reading that book, Eat Right for Your Blood Type. Because
Mhm.
I literally tried to go through every measure. Like, I'm trying to get rid of this diabetes by any means necessary. So, like,
Yes.
I was O negative, I think, and
Gotcha.
I
Yeah.
went down to, there's some lady, I forgot her, the something lady down on like Auburn Avenue,
Yeah.
and she gave me
I've
this
heard
big
about
old
her.
jug of water thing. I don't know what's in the water, to be honest. It's like some detox. And
Yeah,
she
alkaline. Good old alkaline water. Yes.
and she gave me like a list of stuff that I should eat. I think meat was on there though, but only certain meats. Because it's on my fridge
Yeah.
right now. So I'm like, look, God, I'm supposed to eat meat. So like,
But it also goes along too with how you cook it, what you're putting
yeah,
on in it, what you're putting in the sauce, all the extra calories and things of that nature that, is going to take it from being okay for your blood type versus, okay, now this is a little detrimental and excessive for my health. I really didn't need all that extra sauce I just put on there, all that extra bread I just ate with it,
yeah. You're right.
It's
You're
give and
right.
take to it all. Yes.
So, oh my God, this has been so amazing. So, like, what is some advice for people that are struggling through mental health problems, or maybe around people that are dealing with it? Like, what's some advice that you could give to them?
Right. You know what? You have to still just treat them one like they are whole. Nobody wants to feel inadequate ever. Especially in the Black community, there's been such a stigma placed on mental health. And, we always were taught to pray it away. It'll be okay, pray it away. But it's funny, I heard Pastor Oliver or Elizabeth say one time, you know what? God, yeah, he said to pray, but also God gives us resources, and he might bring that resources, say, go to the doctor afterwards, you just
Yes.
didn't get that alert for anything. You prayed for an answer, and you got an alert by an email saying, hey, you haven't been to the doctor in a while. But you have to stay on them, but not be preachy.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is just meet people where they are. Find out where they want to be. Do they like where they want to be? Where do they want to go? With their health, or whether it be mental, physical, whatever the case may be. But you definitely have to acknowledge that they are whole, meet them where they are, and then be suggestive. And you can do that in a way that's not so intrusive to make someone feel inferior, because it can be a very embarrassing thing if approached the wrong way, just because of the way that the world tends to handle it or has handled it in the past. And just thank God that, just mental health awareness, is coming to the forefront a little more than it has in the past. Not just that one crazy uncle that someone has that was pushed off in the corner, locked behind the door, that only came out for food. It's kind of being talked about a little more. And it's okay to seek therapy. It's okay to be proactive. You don't have to wait until, you feel yourself go under, so to speak. Be
Right.
proactive about your health. It is okay. Like, even I have a therapist. One of my good friends is a therapist, thank God. And we have dinner often. And it's not like I'm sitting on her couch or whatever, just me talking about life. And, I cherish that. And even if it's not, a professional, just be a resource for that person where they can talk to you, or you can talk to them, and not be preachy. That's the biggest thing. Don't make yourself the expert. You point them and suggest them to go seek an expert, but don't be preachy. Treat them like they're whole and meet them where they are.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I know somebody took something from what you said today. Somebody's sitting there thinking like, okay, she's giving me some tangible takeaways. She's telling me about my life right now. And that
Yeah.
that's what we're here for. I appreciate you so much for being available for this interview and definitely putting that information out there. But I cannot let you go anywhere until you tell us if you got anything new coming up, any events, any way people can get in contact with you. Like, give me something. Give me something.
Yes. I'm blessed, very blessed. I actually have a lovely little role in a movie coming out in the holidays, so we'll see what else comes before that. It's called Holiday Heist. Make sure you guys look out for that. And
Yeah.
also on, the health and wellness front, everything that I do, I always link it to my Instagram. I feel like I am a big person of pictures, and it's what I enjoy, putting up pictures, motivational quotes, things of that nature. And any and everything that I do, I'm always announcing it first and foremost on my Instagram and providing links to it. I have Rita K Davis is my main Instagram page. And from that, you will find also Vegan Magnet. And that one is dedicated solely to being vegan and health and wellness and whatnot. And all my contact information is in there should you feel that you are ready for a health and wellness coach.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming out today. Ladies, listen, I know that this is a journey that is hard to deal with. It's hard to take these steps. It's hard. Listen, life is just hard, period. Okay. But we got to take the steps for ourselves, right? We got to take these steps for ourselves and be willing to be vulnerable, be willing to talk about the things that we talk about.
You know what? Before you close out completely, I do want to give 2 resources here.
Drop them.
Since we are talking about National Mental Health Month. NAMI, Georgia is a wonderful, wonderful site that you can look at. It stands for the National Alliance of Mental Illness.
Okay.
NAMI, Georgia. It's namiga.org. And any resource that you could ever want as far as being an advocate for, support, request a speaker, recovery efforts, it's any and everything, support, classes. They have any and everything as it relates to mental health there, and I absolutely love that organization. And then also, like mentioned too, if you have someone that possibly, that you need to be that suggestive force to say, let me see if I can get that person to open up. Start out with a documentary, like the one that I mentioned. It's called Mind Game, The Unique Journey of Shamika Holtzwell, and I'll give you that link so you guys can find that. And I know that Ronald Test, he's another basketball sports person that has another documentary coming out. If you can't get to that person by simply asking, find something that they like. Google. You can ask the NAMI folks, who is someone that's similar to the interest of my person that I care about, so that I can possibly get them to open up to see that, you know what, you are a whole. You just need a little bit of love, a little bit more love. And sometimes that comes in the form of official therapy. So check those out.
Oh, I love it. Oh, yeah, you better slide in there with the resources, because I know somebody needed that before I was about to close it out. Yes. Thank you, Rita.
No problem.
Listen, ladies, y'all got the resources. She gave you the juice. Don't be afraid to open up and seek therapy. Therapy is not just for the people that are not melanated. Okay, so let's not get it twisted. We need it too. We got things that we deal with too. So don't be afraid to deal with it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this out with a quote. Of all the judgments we pass in life, none is more important than the judgment we pass on ourselves. I think that you need to really just take hold of yourself. Give yourself a hug. Tell yourself you love yourself. But no thing is more important than treating yourself with the type of care that you deserve. If you're not okay, that's okay. But it's not okay to sit with your problems and not deal with it. So in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to catch y'all next time. It's your girl.
You know it's time.
Cry.